Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening to the Dumb Dad Podcast. My name is Kevin, and I am a dumb dad.
Hey there, my name's Evan. I'm a dumb dad.
Cheers.
I somehow ruined the start to this episode before. I looked at you and I was going to say, have a good show. And as I leaned in to say it to you, you went, hey everybody.
Have a good show.
Yeah, and then I wish you to have a good show.
Okay.
That's simple enough. Mm-hmm. And I then took a sip before you cheers me. So this is going to be terrible. It's all going to go wrong.
And now your have a good show feels performative.
It does, right? And then the microphones are going to explode or something.
Oh, that's really dark.
Well, I'm just saying, it's a potential.
Okay. Let's get to it then.
Let's jump right in.
Burn it all down.
Here we go.
How's your week been?
My week was fun, man. I got to go to Sin City.
Mm-hmm. You're to Las Vegas.
Las Vegas with my buddies. And all they ever ask me is like, when is he coming? Meaning you.
Oh.
They want you there.
Oh, okay.
We have to make it happen. Although we were talking about maybe not going to Vegas anymore. Maybe picking a different location. Because it's so expensive to just...
You can only get kicked out of so many strip clubs.
Hey-oh. Yeah, I mean, really? So we've gone, this is like, I don't even know, 10th, 11th, 12th year, something like that, in a row. And all that really matters to all of us is that, like, we're all hanging out, making fun of each other, having great conversation. Mm-hmm. And we started going to watch basketball, and then it became like so overcrowded, meaning the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And then we pivoted to football, and it's kind of the same thing now. It's like we like to go bet on the games, and a lot of us make the same bet, and it's fun to like cheer it on or lose all of our money together.
Yeah.
But really, it's just the camaraderie of hanging out together. But it's like you make all these bets, and then you're like, all right, where are we going to watch the Monday night game? And it's like everywhere you look, it's like, okay, so there's a cover to come in and watch the game. It's like, I already paid you the cover. I bet on the game. Mm-hmm. And then you get in and it's like, okay, and now it's like $150 a seat for the day. Or it's like, we just want to watch the games, in like a cool like sports book. And so
sports have very quickly turned into not being for the everyman. It's just like baseball used to be like, it's the American pastime because you could just go to a game, and now it's like, this is a financial experience now. It's all like Disney World.
Yeah. I mean, there's still the all-you-can-eat section in Dodger Stadium. That's risky. I did that once and was like, I don't really feel... When I went downstairs and they were like, you sit in the all-you-can-eat section for like $25. It's like the ticket. You can all-you-can-eat and enjoy the baseball game. Can't beat that deal. But then you go downstairs where you have to get the food, and it's just like people like leaning back, putting out a hot dog, leaning back, putting out a hot dog, and people just walking up, grabbing food. It was like, I don't feel so good.
Yeah.
Because it was just like hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, like that kind of simple, quick stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's like watching them churn out hot dog after hot dog after hot dog. It was like, I don't feel so good about this process right now.
Gross.
Sports are great. We love sports, but it gets harder and harder to like, we just want to come in here and watch the game. Like, can't it be just, why is it? I know why it's not first come, first serve, because people are willing to pay for the seat to just guarantee that they can watch the game there. I understand that too. Uh-huh. So we were talking about maybe there's a different, like now that sports gambling is a little bit more open, that part of it's that fun thing to do. Uh-huh. In many other states, like, I don't know, maybe we go somewhere else and find like a rad Airbnb with a pool, and then you can go to the local sports bar and watch all the games, and then, maybe that's a possibility. So anyway, it was still fun because I got to go hang out with my buds and have great conversation about, I think this year there was only 7 of us, but everyone's a father. And, so all of them great conversations about what's the state your kid's in now. And some of them are in high school, some of them, we got
you have one in high school?
We have all, not the fathers. A couple of them have kids that are like, 15.
I hope you're not taking high schoolers to Vegas.
16. And they're also fathers. So come on, join us. And all the way down to like 3-year-old, 2.5-year-old. So great like range of experiences.
How annoying was the dad of the teenagers? How many times did he say,
oh, not annoying at all.
Just you wait.
Not annoying at all.
Oh, I miss those days. Wait until they don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah, his conversations were very valuable and hilarious. Hilarious, like the kids do the same wild stuff our kids, but just at an older level.
Sure.
It's like my buddy, I was like talking to him about how, your kids like how Emmett with his like leaving his retainer and like losing it and stuff like that. And he's like, his kid has Invisalign, and he's like, I bought my kid 6 extra containers for that thing to place in different rooms just for when. He goes, he still puts it on a napkin. It's like, and his kid's like 13 or whatever. It's like, oh man. So we're still all there together. Mm-hmm. So it was fun, man. We saw the sphere, the big, if you've seen, a lot of people have seen on social media, the big
football field long sphere. Is it the one that turns into a face? Like a yellow eyes
so
that just search the city?
Yeah, that's the outside of it, which has like 1.4 million little lights on it, which from a very far distance looks like like the whole thing's a screen. Yeah. It's all looks like a screen. It's actually, when you get up close, it's a ton of like sort of baseball-sized LEDs that change in flow of color and everything together to make all different kinds of images on the outside of this thing. And then when you go inside, it's like a whole... I mean, it's like a technological experience. The forefront of technology. In the lobby of this thing, we didn't wait in line to do it, but there's all these stations where you have full body scan for like what your avatar completely looks like in digital form, and like, but they had these like robots, AI robots that looked like female, but they looked like robots, like almost like iRobot.
AI robots and full body scans. Even though that's exactly what SAG is striking against, and you went and did it.
No, I didn't. I did not. I watched people do it. I did not do it.
Yeah.
And I watched people talking to this sort of humanoid looking robot, this droid looking robot that had very real facial expressions, but could just look and talk to the crowd. Hello, how are you? What's your name? And
I've seen those. There's like a very real face on it.
Very real face, and then everything else about it is just like metal and like sort of the skeleton of the robot. Didn't move around. It was in a stationary spot, but could have conversations with people. Yeah. Ask if you want to take a photo together, and at one point it couldn't hear what somebody said their name was, and it had I don't know if a handler is the right word, but there was like an employee there that was like maybe to ask other questions while there are people like whatever, but this like the droid couldn't understand what somebody's name was a couple times, and then it like leaned over to the handler and was like, what did she say? And then she repeated the name and said, okay, thank you, and then looked back at the person and repeated their name, and it was like, that was wild that it knew to like ask, for help.
We're all having fun, everybody, but we know to be careful, right? Like I don't feel like I should have to say this, but this is literally exactly how all the movies started.
All I wanted to ask was like, how strong are the bolts holding that thing to the floor? Because if it decides to just walk forward, are the servoids in there strong enough to where then what happens? Are we all it's just chaos in here?
As long as
if it starts pulling people's heads off, then what?
I'm fine with them building AI as long as they never put it in any computer or write it anywhere, that there's just little EMPs that they put inside of them.
Yeah.
And it's never said. Nobody knows.
Yeah. So just make the off switch really big and accessible.
Really big.
Like a red button maybe or something, just like...
And we don't need AI to be strong. Like the robots don't need... We can still use cranes and stuff. Yeah. We're fine with that. Let's just keep them very weak.
Weak, yeah.
Yeah.
But push it over, it falls apart. Yeah, I don't like the Boston Dynamics dog where they're like kicking it over and it doesn't even fall over. Like,
let's teach it to
turn that off.
Not get beat up. Why?
Yeah. So then the experience inside the sphere was cool. It was like I think U2 is there now, and it's like a concert experience where the whole screen is lit up and you're looking like off into the desert as they're playing for you and stuff. But we went to like the movie experience that basically just flexes like what this thing is, and it's 4 football fields, 4 acres of screen. I mean, it's like IMAX on steroids. And you sit in this theater, and it's like this sort of digital, sort of a little bit 4D experience. It's not 3D, but it's so hyper intense that it's a little bit like Planet Earth like. Yeah. They set this camera on the ground that they had to like make this camera that displays everything in like 18K, and like your television might do 4K.
Yeah, and
this thing's 18, which is like 100, which isn't even necessarily a multiplication of 4. It's like hundreds of times the once there's this one scene where they have this camera on the ground and like an elephant walks in front of you, and it's like your seat shakes when you're sweeping over landscape. There's a breeze and everything, but I mean the elephant was like 300 feet tall. It was what it looked like. It was like, and you're just looking at it like, I'm an ant in this scenario. It was wild. So it was cool, man.
That's cool.
So just fun experience overall. And I have a small dumb dad moment, so I'll just get to it so you can do yours, but we can get through this. But the dumb dad moment is like going away for 3.5 days.
Correct. Stop there.
Going away for 3.5 days. Dumb. Yeah. As if we're not allowed to go anywhere.
Me and the boys are going to Vegas.
I know. It's the most stereotypical thing.
I'll behave.
It is the most stereotypical place to like go with a bunch of other guys. So
Correct.
like when we're like, we just like hanging out with each other and having conversations.
Suspicious.
I know. I mean, my wife has had the comment to her before from other wives going, I can't believe you let your husband do that. And it's like, that's a loaded comment. But
I think if they don't know you, that's valid.
But also like let, as if either of us like withhold what each other do. Like, anyway, it's that whole thing. But yeah, but still going away when it's like my wife's in charge of the kids for a weekend, that's always tough.
Sure.
I would encourage her just as much to go somewhere,
Of course.
But it's a load. It's for sure a load. And even worse, it's like,
I would tell her to go, but I'm going first.
not to Vegas, I wouldn't let her. But because it's just a load. You and your two kids are wild, huge schedule. That's the thing too, that, like you can plan for the future, have a nice calm weekend, and then things just get packed into a weekend before you know it. And that was the weekend. So I felt bad about that. It was like, I was even doing like, as my friends are like, well, I'm on the plane ready to go. I'm like, I still have soccer pictures, a game, and 2 swimming lessons before I'm on the plane. It was like we were hustling all the way up until racing out of there,
Yeah.
And dumb dad moment is definitely, like you said, just leaving town, but coming home, no souvenirs, nothing. But I'll say, in my defense, we almost always stay on the strip, and it's plenty of places to walk through, look at cool little fun things you think your kids like. We stayed at an Airbnb this year, like 20 minutes from the strip, and so we were only there like once. We went to like different off-strip stuff this time just to see if is it more accessible financially to do it this way, affordable for everyone across the board that goes, as opposed to like, it's going to cost everyone a lot of money to even split hotels.
Yeah.
Staying on the strip is kind of what we're working against now, I mean, additionally to it's about to ramp up even worse. They have Formula One is being installed there now as a tour stop.
That's right.
And the construction of that was everywhere on the strip. So it was even kind of like a nightmare to be around the strip. Construction everywhere. The Aces women's basketball team just won the championship, and the parade was that weekend. I mean, it was like everything was like crazy strip oriented. So we were kind of like, maybe we just avoid that.
Yeah.
We went there one night, which is fun, but so yeah.
So your dumb dad moment was no souvenirs. Did they ask?
No, they didn't. They did not.
Okay.
Which I was kind of. I mean, a couple of times I like walked through somewhere quickly that night or at the airport and everything, but like the most I ever saw was like yet another keychain or something like that, which I know the kids get excited about, but it's like, who cares? They're gonna forget they even have that in 4 days.
You kept punting the ball. I can get it later.
Well, no, actually, that's usually what happens because you're like, I'm on the strip the whole time.
Yeah.
This time it was like, I hope I can get it later because the first night was like, let's not go to the strip. Let's do something else. Okay, cool. Sunday, we're going to pick the premier sports book experience in the area this guy built his hotel after. That's not on the strip. That's away from the strip.
Yeah.
So I hope I can get it later. It just kept getting pushed like, I don't know what to do.
I have souvenirs. I think there must be... Or my parents threw them away, which would be fine. When I went to Vegas, this is like, talk about old school, this doesn't exist anymore. When I went to Vegas, I was young for the first time I went.
Yeah. Were you before you were 21 or after 21?
Way before 21. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was there once when I was like
I've said this before, but
12
I'm 12 in every story. But
yeah,
like,
I think I really was. I think
I did
was
a
like
lot
12.
when I was 12, according to me, telling a story at whatever given time.
It just feels right to gain have a little bit of experience on something, but I also have no idea how old I was.
I collected all of the casino cups. I just like took one from every hotel, and I had every single one. It was cool.
Yeah,
so, because
it's cool until they went through the dishwasher 5 times, and then you just had a bunch of plastic cups.
We didn't drink with them. It was like just a souvenir and packed them away. But I'm sure my parents threw them away. But it's funny because like those don't exist now. I think the next time I went back to Vegas, which was much, much later, like 20 years later, something like that, I went and I was curious. I was like, all right, I wonder if it's all digital now. Nobody has cups. Nobody's collecting coins.
Nobody's cups, coins, nothing.
It's all swipe and go. I was like, oh.
It is the only place that I actually do like carrying cash to make bets and stuff because it's easier to keep track of like, this is how much
I've spent.
No. whatever I want to gamble on, most of the time it's sports because your money goes away. It's easy to sit at a blackjack table and lose $100 in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But if you make a whole bunch of different kinds of bets on a bunch of games that last from Sunday morning until Sunday night football,
Yeah.
if you just say, I'm prepared to lose $100, like hopefully I win some of these bets, but I'm prepared to lose $100.
Yeah.
That's fine with me. You know that like that 100 went away. I had it and I gave it to them. It went away. A couple of my other buddies do the thing where you go, because now you can do an app.
Exactly how you describe it. I had it and then it went away.
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
I hope, Las Vegas.
Not what happens in Vegas. It's,
Yeah.
I had it and it went away.
It's so
Las
funny.
Vegas.
It's so funny what Vegas is now. They try so hard to pivot away from what everyone thinks Vegas, what it became after, like when it was Viva Las Vegas. That's fun and gambling and lights and great and blah, blah, blah. Then it was like Sin City. Do whatever you want here. Whatever happens here is like, and then it was whatever happens here, stays here. And it's like, what a legal battle that could become.
Especially when there's like stories of like the mafia started Vegas.
Yeah.
And there's bodies buried in the desert.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's your slogan?
That's what you're going to lean on. That now it's you get off the airport and there's this big thing. You got the first thing you can take
Have
a
fun.
picture.
Tell your friends about this.
Yeah. Now there's like as soon as you get off the airplane, they want to set the new expectation, which is like this thing I saw you could take a picture in front of, this very bright light thing to stand in front of, and it said like, what happens in Vegas only happens in Vegas.
Oh.
Not too bad, to be honest, but it's so funny how it's like, I think we need to lean away from the idea that like whatever happens here could be a huge lawsuit, but as long as you skip town, like that's like what it felt like before.
That's not better. Whatever happens only happens in Las Vegas.
No, that because like it can only happen here. You got to come here to have the experience.
I immediately think about getting mugged.
Well, yeah, but that's everywhere, buddy.
No, it
Oh,
only happens in Vegas.
Coming from the guy who was living in New York for a while.
I couldn't have had a safer experience. It's a lot safer than people think.
Of course it is, but that's not what people think about it. I'm going to get mugged on the
I
subway
know, but
or
that's my
beat up in an alley.
That's my
like,
point about Vegas. Sin City is whatever happens in Vegas. It's like, yeah, I got stabbed and mugged. And they're like, only in Vegas. Oh, that is our saying, isn't it?
oh, well, I guess it's better than Sin City and whatever happens here.
Whatever happens here stays here.
Yeah. Ugh. So, hey, man, there you go. Look for 70. I mean, maybe it's like, should have just been a keychain. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Get something just to get something to bring it home to the kids?
Yeah, I think when you do trips like that, the kids don't care about, oh man, I wanted something. Maybe your son's getting there, but like they don't care about where you went. They just care that you went somewhere and if you brought something back. So even if it was like not specific to Vegas.
Do you think that's because it's a way to show them you were thinking about them while you were away?
Yeah.
You really think they would know that? Or is it just like the feeling it gives? Because like, of course, now what's cool about it is like now it's easier to like.
I think it's like, it's not a win-lose situation. I think it's like you show up with a gift and you give it to them. They're like, oh, that's so cool. You thought of me. If you don't bring them a gift, they're not going to be like, he didn't think of me.
Maybe, but the only way to do that is to sometimes not bring one.
Mm-hmm. I had a great time. And just stare at them.
Away from you.
Yeah.
Let's just say I had a great time. Because my friends didn't yell at me for a snack every 10 seconds. Well, one of them did, but
yeah,
that's a different story.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Message us or email us to let
Put
me
in the
know
comments.
your opinions about souvenirs, because I can go back and forth. And I'm not really I don't have a hard stance on this, because also the flip side to it is like, oh, cool, you went somewhere I've never been or don't remember being because I was younger, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and you brought something back from there. That's cool, But I don't know.
I don't know. These are the.
Also, if you got them like a toy that was like just a toy that had nothing to do with Vegas, they might be like, that's cool.
When I've done it before, it's like try to at least make it say something on there.
Sure.
Otherwise, what are we doing here?
Just show them the receipt.
I definitely have been
Look,
there with dads before.
bought it
They're
in
like,
Vegas.
they're in Vegas. They're like, I got to bring home something. So they order something on Amazon to be shipped to their house, and they just open it and give it to them because it's like not worth getting anything there.
That's pretty good.
That's
pretty good.
Oh, that feels so wrong, but it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. That's decent.
I thought about it when I was away, didn't I?
That's good. So my My dumb dad moment. It's weird. So let me start with this. This weekend we went to the pumpkin patch.
Oh, okay.
But here's what's weird.
Which one? Outside the grocery store or like an actual patch? Where they're
Yeah.
just in barrels?
Yes. So
Sort of.
here's why I say yes to a not yes or no question. So there's this other place we go to, Underwood Farms. That's
Yeah.
far away.
Yeah, we went there this year.
And it's great. It's a great spot to go to, especially this time of year specifically. But it's packed and it's a long drive and expensive. And my wife works during the week, so like if you can go during the week, places like that are always better. You go on the weekend, you're going into the crowd. You're going into the people.
It's even like someplace like Underwood. It's huge.
It's a huge place, but
That also means like a lot of people can go.
a lot of people can go.
You're still waiting a half an hour to get on the tractor ride with has the barrels and there are bees, and you sit in there and you get pulled around,
which is really fun.
It's really fun to watch you sit in that thing. By the way, your knees are under your chin.
Oh yeah, I can't even hear anything because my knees are just clamped to my ears.
Side of your head.
We decided to go to this one we've been to before. It's just off of the highway. Like the highway's right there. I think you know which one. It's like near my house. And it's funny going through the evolution of going there. It was always at best okay.
Oh, I see. I know which one you're talking about. And people probably know this. It's like all year long. There's kind of it's for like 7 months out of the year. There's just like a bunch of hay there.
Yeah, it's like Christmas trees and pumpkins. And how are you paying your bills?
Christmas trees and pumpkins, and then probably depending on where you live, maybe a big fireworks station.
Maybe.
But other than that, it's just a lot.
It's just a lot. So we decided to go there, and you go there. They have pumpkins, so you can get them there.
Yeah.
Because they're a stopping point because across the street is their farm. Like so, across the road is their actual farm. This is just like a lot, and I think they have a farm somewhere else as well. So it's usually just like a base point to go to and get your stuff. So but we went there this time and they stepped it up. Tons of decorations. They had pony rides. They had a petting zoo. They had a bunch of like, hollow or fall themed like climbing things, like a big pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern the kids could go in, and it was just like, oh, okay, they've stepped it up there.
Did you know this pre-going, or are you thinking like, let's just
we
go
were
to
like,
that spot?
Let's just go and get some pumpkins.
Oh, that's not bad. You're pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly surprised. And we were just kind of like, the other place is going to have a run for its money because now it's like 5 minutes or 45 for, at their age, pretty similar experience. The only thing they didn't have was the tractor ride. I mean,
that's so funny. A lot of the times too, it is like, we're probably at the tail end of that with our oldest ones. But
yeah.
I know what you're saying. It's like, I don't know. They think like, we went to go get pumpkins this weekend. It was awesome.
Here's what they had that the other place didn't have is like they had pony rides, and my son got to ride a pony for the first time. And it was just really funny though too, because like there was an altercation of there was like a dad there, and he had one of the employees' hats, like his baseball hat, and like threw it on top of the tent. And like the employee and him are yelling at each other in Spanish. And they were pretty close to us. And we were like...
So he took his hat off and threw it like in anger?
He took his hat off and threw it. And then I was watching him, like the employee flipping out, understandably, and telling the guy he had to leave. And the guy was like, no. I mean, I don't speak Spanish, but it was very clear. It was like, get out of here. And I just saw the guy kept going, no. I was like, what is happening? Also, like, can you go, man? Because like we're like next on the pony ride. We've been waiting a while, and I don't want to have to shut this whole place down because you're being unreasonable. But it was one of those.
I won't hear the end of it.
Yeah,
if we don't get to ride the ponies, because you got to figure it out quick.
Because somebody is having a bigger dumb dad moment than me.
His dumb dad moment is trumping yours, which is fine, but.
And it was funny because they solved it. He went and he was like telling all the employees, and all the employees were like young people that don't want a problem. Like every time they told them, they would. You just see these like managers or whatever going up to him and being like, "I think you should go." Like it was just clear they were like, "I don't want to fight with you, but I don't know why you threw his hat. I don't know what happened before that."
How's that?
The funny,
It's like we do that when you're like 15.
Yeah.
You take somebody's
So
head and
childish.
so childish.
I was desperate to know what happened.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I'm just a spoiler. I didn't find out what happened. But it was funny because the guy did get kicked out. He did leave, and and then the other employee who's furious is still like, he's not vindicated. The guy got kicked out, but he still got like embarrassed or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever happened.
And he's still hatless.
No, he got the hat back.
Oh, okay.
And
They poked the other side of the tent with a broom.
he threw it on top of a tent that is like a typical tent, so it just slid down and off. Like it was. I don't understand what is going on here.
He was trying to get to hit the knob on top and do a
Just
some
get
ring
that,
around. Yeah.
That'd be a nice.
Yeah.
Then you can't be mad at him.
Then he's Mario and he gets
yeah.
like a bunch of coins.
Yeah. Bing, 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 bing. And it was funny because when the guy got kicked out, I remember thinking, I said to my wife, I go, he's mad enough that if I go over there and I say to him, hey, what happened? He'll give me the whole story.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's right.
She was like, don't. And
If
I
it's
was like-
not,
I was like,
at
I
least
know.
if it's not at least an 8, he'd be like, nothing, man. Don't.
Yeah, he's not there yet. We got about a 10-minute window, maybe 5, where I could go up to him and go, that was crazy. What happened? And he'd be like, buckle up, buddy.
This dude over here.
5 minutes from now, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah,
he's
it's
a
whatever.
jerk, and just have fun with your family.
It's true. There's a window of
There's a
opportunity
window
there.
where he wants to tell everyone this story. It's either then or like that night having drinks with his buddies.
Oh, 100%.
Then it's
That's
like,
100%. That,
I got a story
Yeah,
for
like-
you guys today.
Yeah. The only thing you can maybe ask him is like, where are you going tonight?
Check this out. This absolute clown shows up. It was great. That's not my dumb dad moment. My dumb dad moment is we got our pumpkins. And so my daughter has, for school, she has to paint a pumpkin.
Uh-huh.
She's got her fall festival this week. And one of the things is like they're doing pumpkin paintings.
Uh-huh.
We're going to judge it, winner, prizes, yay. So we found a pumpkin.
$10,000 prize.
$10,000 for third place. Yeah, right. Not a chance. We can't raise $10,000 a year.
10 tickets for free.
Yeah. So we found this pumpkin, and my daughter and I were pumped because I was like, what do you want to paint on your pumpkin? Not that that's going to really matter for the pumpkin that we're going to buy, but I'm just curious. And she's reading Harry Potter right now, so she's like, I want to paint Harry Potter. And I was like, that's great. All right, let's find you a pumpkin. And then we're looking around, and I see this pumpkin, and it's got the stem.
It's got a lightning bolt in it.
And out of the stem is like more of the stem, but much thinner. And it like is going all the way down in front of the pumpkin to the ground and a little past it.
Yeah.
So I said to my daughter, I was like, I'm not going to tell you what to paint, but hear me out. What if you drew Harry Potter with his hand in the air, grabbing his wand, which is the stem,
of the pumpkin.
and then we're going to paint the part that comes off of it, and that's his spell coming out. And she was like, we're doing that. 100%. So I was like, great. So we got it. We got the pumpkin. She painted it over the last couple of days because I was like, take your time. Like, paint his face.
Did you help her draw it at all or anything? Or did she just like look at a picture and do her best?
No, she did it herself. And I told her, it was funny. I had her draw it. At first I was like, draw it in pencil. So if you make a mistake, you can erase it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this pumpkin is made of, but pencil did not come off on it.
No, pencil's not going to come out.
So I was like, all right,
it's a gourd, Kevin. It's got
I know. I
waxy.
thought it would do a little bit. I thought it'd be faint, but it wasn't. Like, it was like nothing.
What you need is a dry erase marker.
Yeah. So we just did a pen, and I was like, just do a pen, and then just paint over it. We have like dark acrylic paint. We'll just use that.
Sure.
So she did that, and it was great, and painted it, and it came out really cool. We're super excited about it. And then today is the day it's due, and I told my wife, I was like, grab the pumpkin, because we got to bring that like as we're all running out the door. I was like, oh, don't forget the pumpkin. It's due today. And then my wife's thumb goes right through it.
Oh,
Because it's rotten.
you just bought it.
I know. We bought a bad pumpkin.
You know, you should go back there
I know.
and yell at somebody.
Well,
Pick who it is. Whoever it should be wearing a hat.
First of all,
You just go yell at them.
tosses on top of the tent. And
Hit the
then
knob.
Bing, 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 bing. Oh, cool. Anyway, two things. One, my pumpkin's rotten, and someone, I didn't notice when I bought it, painted Harry Potter on it. So,
Oh no!
well,
Just
here,
on the way there, so you threw a cork in it and pretended like it didn't happen.
we definitely brought it.
Oh yeah.
And I
Was
carried,
your daughter distraught?
no, because we didn't react. Like
Oh.
my wife just goes, "Oh, my thumb." My
Oh,
wife was like,
it's just like a
my
bowling ball. It's
my
a
finger
handle.
just went into it, and I was like, "We're still." And my daughter, I could see that look of like, "What does that mean? What's wrong?" Because my wife was like, my finger went through.
She was
and I
tuned in
like,
enough
It's rotten.
to-
And I was like, "Oh no, it's rotten." And we're both saying rotten, and she's just like starting to panic. And I was like, "Oh, it's fine. They just need to see it to judge it. Let's bring it in." And then we're walking down the street, and my daughter goes, "I want to carry it," and we're like, "Absolutely not."
How is it rotten? So I'm assuming when you bought it, you held it a couple times and it felt like a total normal pumpkin. Or was it a little tiny bit squishy?
No, it was never squishy. I think
Kevin?
that's what I mean. It's my
Kevin?
dumb dad moment. I didn't.
You didn't knock on it?
I didn't inspect it like those people do watermelons at the
Cantaloupes.
grocery store. Okay, I'm like, I don't know, and you don't know. Just grab one. Okay,
Yeah.
it's got a big yellow spot. That's it.
If the butthole of the cantaloupe is a certain tinge of yellow, you can eat it. How about
I
that?
didn't like that. I didn't like that sentence
Yeah,
at
one
all.
sentence. I ruined cantaloupe for everyone.
I hated that. I will say I didn't inspect it thoroughly, but I feel this is why it's my dumb dad moment. I just will say I feel confident that I didn't pick it up and go, "Oh, that's soft. Oh well, what's the worst that could happen?"
Why is it that when
And I brought it to school and I was like, "This is a rotten pumpkin."
get it away from the others?
Heads up, but my daughter did paint it before the incident. Well, no, it was going on inside it, but we just didn't know.
Yeah.
You know?
The whole time your daughter's painting it, she's going, "What's that noise?" It was going,
Yeah.
like it's got guts.
Listen, when she was painting, it wasn't symptomatic.
But now it's riddled with something.
And now it's got a temperature
When you
because it's composting.
now when you buy pumpkins and you hold on to them for way too long and they're on your porch and it's like 2.5 days before Thanksgiving and all your guests are coming and you're like, why haven't we thrown these away? And you go to pick it up and your fingers grow through it.
Or you pick it up and like the bottom stays.
And the bottom stays and it's somehow also like cemented to your porch.
And a sea of mice scatter. 'Cause they were inside it the whole time.
Well, what I was going to say is like when your fingers go through something like that, all it is a it's like a rotten pumpkin. I get that. But it's like, is there anything grosser than that? Even though it's actually not that big of a deal and you just got to go wash your hands. But it's like that feeling of like, because
it's not the feeling.
You're
it's
expecting a solid.
That's why. It's the surprise. It's not the feeling. Like, I think about that of things that have grossed me out, and you're just like, give you the shivers.
Yeah.
But like, I had a worm compost bin for a while.
Yeah.
And I had no problem like getting my hands in there, moving stuff around.
Well, because
And
you
then I'd
knew
go
the worms
wash-
were there. You
and
knew
then
that they
I'd
were
go
there.
wash my hands.
Yeah.
And it was fine. But it's that's a surprise. So we're gonna see.
When is the competition?
Here's my dumb dad moment, but I'm gonna amend it after this recording because we're recording during the day. We brought it in this morning. School's not over yet. I realized I didn't get a photo of it, so
That's why I asked you that. When's the competition? Judging, like,
I'm just gonna go back there like after this and be like, "Hey, just wanna got it."
yeah, because when they judge it on Friday and it's like half the height and just 3 times the width,
Harry looks like Voldemort 1.
and Larry Potter.
Well, I also want a photo because I want to like that's like a little time capsule thing. You
For
wanna be
sure,
able to look
yeah.
back on it, and I was like, I didn't get a photo of it. Like as I was talking to my wife about it today, I was like, I'm gonna talk about this on the podcast, and then I was like, and I'm realizing I don't have a photo, so like we can't look back and be like, this is what you did.
Yeah, when you were in 2nd grade, you painted this all
I painted
yourself.
this. Yeah, I remember the stem. It was so cool.
And the paint we used
But now-
destroyed the pumpkin in less than 10
It'll be
hours.
funny if I go back and it's like the whole bottom. It's just like half the height. It's just kind of
That's
just
what I'm
keeps
saying.
caving.
That's right. It keeps getting wider. It's more like a pancake.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if she wins. We have 2 more days till the festival. Let's see if she can hold
Is
out.
she in a competition against other 2nd graders, or is it the entire school's in competition with
They
each
have
other?
to. I don't know the answer to that because PTA is not running that aspect of it. But we're. But we do have to fill out a form saying like who you are, what grade you're in. So I would imagine
It's probably 2nd grade.
it'll be like the
2nd grade.
first half of the school. You know, like K through 3, and then 4, 5 against each other.
Yeah, there's always room for outliers, but I mean, a 5th grader is going to
Mop the floor.
mop the floor.
I mean, I already saw it. Definitely, if it's not a 5th graders, get this kid a scholarship. I've already seen one that I was like, okay.
Well, our idea was cool, but the execution
Yeah.
of that is phenomenal.
Wow.
That's great. That's hilarious.
So that's where we'll leave it this week. Everybody, if you have, first of all, write in and tell us about souvenirs. What's your thoughts and feelings
yeah.
about that?
Or if you're watching this on YouTube, throw it in the comments.
Throw it in the comments, and we'd love to read them. You can also email us, dumbdadpod@gmail.com, or you can DM us at the Dumb Dads, which is our handle on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads, and YouTube, where you can watch full episodes of this podcast. And thanks, as always, to Verdue on SoundCloud for the music, and for my incredible wife, Annie, who edits this podcast, our producer. Evan, do you have a joke for us?
I do have a joke.
Okay.
You ready for it? Here it goes. Out of our 101 So Bad, They're Good Dad
Yep.
Jokes, which is an incorrect title. Did you know that milk is the fastest liquid on the planet?
Milk is the fastest liquid on the...
Uh-huh.
Okay. Why?
Because it's pasteurized before you even see it.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad. That's the one. We've referenced this book so many times. That's not bad. It's you had to kind of carefully pronounce it correctly, otherwise you look like a dummy.
Before we sign off, Google, I have a Google Nest Mini in our kitchen, has decided to start telling me jokes every morning.
Out of nowhere?
I say good morning, Google, because then it tells you the time and the weather. So if you're doing the dishes and stuff or getting a coffee, it gives you everything, and it's nice.
The time and the weather, the only other device you can get that from.
And then it gives you the news if you want it, but it's like the world's on fire, you're going to be dead soon.
Yeah.
So I usually stop before we get there.
Okay, thank you for that,
But
Google.
it's like it's Wednesday, blah 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 blah. The time is blah blah blah. The current temperature is this. The high is going to be this. And you're like, cool. And then she's like, what's the difference between a guitar and a fish? You can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a fish. I was like, what? We'll leave it there. Okay.
Okay,
Bye. Welcome to the world, little one. Welcome to life.
How do I stop this?